guys, welcome back to Utterly Unfiltered with
Tash
and Cara. I nearly forgot to say my name.
I feel like every single time we do the recording, we just like giggle because it just sounds so funny.
So awkward. The beginning part is like, it's like entering a conversation and leaving a conversation. I find really hard.
Yeah.
It's those transitions, right?
It is.
Once you get me going.
We want to just keep going and keep going. And it's like, we need to just pause at some point.
Yeah. I have this awkward thing at the moment where I can't say goodbye to people though in real life. Like I don't know what it is, but I linger. And then the more I linger, the more awkward I know I'm becoming, but then the more I linger. So like, for example, leaving the office yesterday at like lunchtime, because I went to London first. I had a friend's surprise engagement party and then came here. But leaving the office, it's a work colleague of mine who I'm really good friends with, and really enjoy her company, and I just can't, and I don't know if it's like partly that, but also because I am me and I struggle with normal human interaction sometimes. So I couldn't, like, I'm trying to say I'm saying goodbye and I'm standing halfway out the door, like I'm holding the door open to her office, standing 1 foot out, 1 foot in, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, cool, have a great weekend. And she's like, yeah, you too. And I'm like, hope you enjoy your movie marathon, because I know she's having. She's like, yeah, thanks, enjoy your weekend. And I'm like, yeah, but be safe, like have a good one. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, Cara, leave the room.
Why
are you not leaving the room?
Why aren't you?
I don't know. Eventually I left the room because I'm here. Jesus, I'm so awkward.
Are you procrastinating the leaving, or
I don't know what it is, or if I just don't know how to terminate a conversation without it.
The word bye usually works.
Touche. I'll try that next time.
I'm really looking forward to you leaving tomorrow, and I'm going to assess how you leave the house.
You should do
I'd recommend an Irish exit at this point, because I'm going to be watching you so hard tomorrow.
Like, just leave.
Yeah, just leave.
This is fun. Bye.
Bye.
Well, anyways,
cool. So funny and so random.
So random. I'm back on the sofa, guys. That was a fun little exit.
I actually wanted to ask you a question.
Ooh.
By the way, first of all, before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for coming back.
Yes.
This week we are discussing how to be obsessed with your life, and we actually are going to discuss how to become obsessed with your life. We're not going to procrastinate and chat shit the whole time like we did last week.
Yes.
So a little apology for just chatting shit last week, but I hope you enjoyed our catch-up session.
We will still be chatting shit this week.
Of course.
Disclose.
That's basically the entire point of this podcast, right? We just chat shit and we talk to you guys. But, you know, we hadn't seen each other in 2 months, and we hadn't seen you guys properly in 2 months either. So we had so much to tell you and so much to catch up on. Yeah. But this week we are going to give you we're going
to get back into it.
Pay your hard-earned time to listen to. And that is our wisdom that is just so incredible.
Tasha's wisdom. I'm here for comedic purposes, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
No,
I know my role.
You're here for profundity as well. Not profanity, but profundity.
And both. But I actually have moments.
You are very profound.
And I think it's it's not even that I am profound, but I think it's because of the contrast of when I talk absolute nonsense, and then like I'll just drop a nugget in there and it will just be like earth shattering. Because where the fuck did that come from? How did it come from the same brain? Don't know. Is the answer to that.
That's that Aries versus Cancer side of your brain. It's like there's one part of you and then the other part.
Or it's a split personality.
Yeah,
let's call it what it is. Yeah.
Anyway, I had a question for you.
Yes, you did.
And this is going to be a little out of date, so I apologise for that too. But TikTok ban.
Oh, yeah.
As someone who performs
Predict it now.
on TikTok and also probably consumes a fair bit of TikTok, how are you feeling about that concept?
Is it bad to say I actually kind of love it? Me too, I love it. Me too. I actually really hope it happens. I'm sorry if we all love TikTok, but I can't figure TikTok out. So selfishly, I'm like, well, then we're all going to be at the same even playing field again.
Yeah, I get that concept for sure.
Because I can't use it. I'm trying to use it to my advantage. I just can't. Also, I am addicted to it, and I'm better off not wasting my time and energy on TikTok as a consumer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's going to shake up the social media world for sure. I don't think it will happen. I think someone will buy it out, right?
Yeah, people are saying...
It'll be Musk or Elon or... No, same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Musk or
him
Elon.
or him, yeah.
Basically just him.
Yeah.
I think... Well, Ali actually made this good point this morning, because we were talking about this morning, because as we're recording right now, the ban's supposed to happen tomorrow. So that's why it's very hot news right now, even though it might be not hot news anymore by the time this comes out.
It'll be cold news.
But it'll be very cold, chilly news.
Ooh, frosty.
But Ali said he thinks what will happen is that because it's currently Biden, he will keep the ban. But then by the time Trump gets back into power again, then they will reverse it and it will come back again. Yeah. So it might pause for a while, but it won't be forever. But I mean, that's just a theory, obviously. Yeah. And people also saying things like, but it won't go away in the UK. Well, the thing is, it will, because the company won't be there anymore. So it'll just stop updating after a while.
Well, no, the US branch of the company won't be there.
Yeah.
But there's still a massive market for it in Asia.
In Asia, perhaps, yeah. I think from what they were saying, it was like it would just eventually just time out, as in like updates and refreshment wise and all that kind of stuff.
But then I think they will sell it, because basically the thing is, like, they want them to sell the US branch to an independent, which would be in their interest then. Yeah. So I think they would do that. I think they'll do that.
We'll see what happens. But I also feel the same way. I think the idea... Well, the reason I feel the same way is not even necessarily because I don't like TikTok, because I do. I like TikTok. I consume it all the time. And it's not even that I'm like, oh, everyone needs to go back to zero again. Like, it's become monopolies. I really don't care about that either. If anything, like... I follow a lot of influencers, like 2 million followers, and I love them. Like, I love their content. Yeah. So I don't want them to go away, and they won't go away, because they have YouTube channels and Instagrams and all that stuff.
And YouTube channels are huge. YouTube shorts are, like, big.
Yeah, and I love YouTube. I prefer watching vlogs than I do watching short videos anyway. But what I think is the good thing about it, if it did happen, is that, like, I feel like eventually some of these things do just have to time out. Like, we can't just, like, that's just life, isn't it? You can't just have the same thing forever. And it's been going on for, like, maybe like 8 years or something.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was before COVID, but it wasn't that much before, was it?
Well, no, but you also bear in mind the fact that it had been going for a while, and then it only sort of caught on with us more recently. And by us, I mean the Western world, but then also our age group.
Yes, our age group.
The kids were doing TikToks from, like, years before.
I've seen people's TikToks were from, like, 2018, but I've never seen anything from before, like, 2018. But there probably is, but, like, I don't know.
I'm curious, because I don't know as well.
But I think at some point there's just, like, the natural rhythm of things. Like, it's like evolution. It's like something's got to go for something else to take its place, and, like, something else will take its place.
Yeah, for sure.
And if anything, that thing might be better. When did it start?
2016, but most downloaded app in the US in 2018.
There you go. So it's been around for 9 years, and I think that's a good run. Like, for something to be that popular for 9 years.
Well, Insta's been going for longer, right?
Like, a lot longer.
So but it wasn't always Meta.
No, but now that it's been bought by Meta, everything's a bit different. That's what people don't want to happen with...
Instagram started. 2010 was Insta.
But it's like, Snapchat is timed out for our generation at least. Like, no one uses that anymore.
You say this.
Young people do.
I know. I have 3 friends our age that use Snapchat.
Yeah, it's just creepy.
No,
in my opinion.
I don't understand
weird behavior.
I don't, but also, if they do listen, I didn't say that. Tash said that. I actually respect.
I honestly think it's like one of those things. Like when it's like red flags when dating. Which, by the way, we're going to do an episode on that.
Oh yeah.
But one of them has Snapchat downloaded on their phone.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah.
No, really? Why?
Because Snapchat is notoriously dick pic central. So sorry if that gets like censored or something. The whole channel's taken down because I said that.
Okay, say it again. Put it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Why? Because you're going to go beep.
Yeah.
Are you going to beep over
I'm going to beep it.
Okay, yeah. Well, Snapchat is dick pic central.
I was too late. Shit.
So in my opinion, that's a huge red flag. But anyways, I just think it'll be interesting to see what happens. So we shall see.
Okay.
I love YouTube personally. I'm a YouTube god through not necessarily shorts. The problem with Instagram is that the algorithm isn't very good. So even if you go on your explore page and you like something, you'll watch like a meme or something or a funny video. But then when you scroll, you can all of a sudden be watching like a car crash from 2010.
It's true.
It's like, what? How
does it jump?
How have we got here? It's like I can't trust it. Whereas with my TikTok, I've got to a point where I trust it not to serve me content I don't want to see, because I am very sensitive. And originally I didn't like TikTok because I ended up on like witch talk and stuff, and I was getting all sorts of like scary ass shit happening,
which is so not you,
so not me. And I don't let talk. When we're in bed, like Ali will show me like dog videos on TikTok that he saved during the day, very cute, but I don't let him. We can't doom scroll, like we can't go back onto the TikTok feed and scroll because his algorithm is different to mine, and so he might get like some news article or something that I don't want to see right before bed when I'm trying to go to sleep. And so he has to vet the content he shares with me in advance, you know?
My algorithm, as I mentioned to you yesterday, is Paris Hilton. And it's just purely because I happened to stumble upon one of her songs called ADHD that I sent to a friend of mine who
Tell them
has
about
ADHD. And it's, I honestly, well, yeah, it's not like Paris Hilton's going to be listening to the podcast, right? No. But you think it's a parody. It's not a parody. It's an actual song. Okay, and it's called ADHD. Can I just give you a preview?
Just clip the tiny bit, because otherwise we're going to be taken down for copyright.
Oh no.
So
okay, I won't play it, but it goes like, now look at me, I'm ADHD. It's like, I'm the best I can be because I'm ADHD. And I'm just like, oh my god. Which, fair enough. Like, yeah, I love the principle, and I don't like to knock anyone's art or music or whatever. And I love the message, because it's like turning something that maybe you perceive as a difficulty or a weakness as a strength. Love it. But just check out the music video and you'll see what I mean. Okay.
Also, the bit that annoys me the most about a song, I mean, I actually, yeah, fair enough, whatever. It's a bit of pop. It's funny. But it's the I'm ADHD is not grammatically correct.
Of course you wouldn't like that part of it.
That is like, ooh, it's like, unless you are the disorder, you are attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's like, you cannot be that.
Okay, well, in this, ADHD is actually just having Paris Hilton in your brain.
Yeah,
all the time.
There you go. In which case it is her.
Yeah.
But that's the only way grammatically that could happen. You can have ADHD, but you cannot be ADHD. Do you see what I mean?
I do see what you mean.
That irks me. That irks me a little bit. Anyways. All right.
Oh, but that was just to fully circle, there was context to that, because now my algorithm has gone bonkers on Paris Hilton, and everything I see is Paris Hilton. It's literally like I'm her number one fan.
I love that.
But yes, let's move on.
We're going to stake to our promise, and we are actually going to talk about how to become obsessed with your life. And the reason for this episode, as you found out in the last one, was because last week was Blue Monday, so we wanted to do a nice, happy-go-lucky episode.
Yes.
But besides, you just got this yapping in your ear, which, you know, that's also could make you happy. So
I don't think
it's the end of January.
I don't think it would have made them happy, but
possibly
it's
not.
fine.
It's the end
Thanks
of
for
January.
sticking with us. Yeah.
And we want to just talk about how to keep yourself in a good, happy, positive mood and be happy in this, stressful and cold time of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I do break out into song at times.
Well,
that's how I keep myself happy.
I'm working late.
No. 'Cause
I'm a singer.
No, it's my thing.
It's your thing. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Yummy. Okay, so let's kick it off. Do you want to go first? We got a little list going.
I'll go for it.
Of little tips and tricks.
Well, the reason I put this episode down was because back in November, I was just in a bit of a funk, I was just funking a little bit, and I was just feeling impatient because we're moving out of this house soon, and we don't really know what we're doing. We're kind of going back and forth between different parents and just winging it for a few months. And with that comes a lot of uncertainty, which is fine. I mean, I've moved house every 1 or 2 years for my basically entire life.
Yeah.
So it's not.
You like the change in a way.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not scared of change, but at the same time, like, we're settled, we like it here, and we don't know what's coming next, and so that can always be a little bit nerve-wracking. And I was kind of getting myself into a bit of funk in November, and I was thinking, like, of all the things that were kind of irritating me, like about the house or about living here. There was just issues like we had mold in the upstairs bathroom, and the dishwasher stopped working, and it was cold and grey, and we weren't going on our walks as often, and I cancelled my gym membership because I'm not working, and so I can't afford it.
It's the end of the year. It's pretty uninspiring.
It is, and I was just like getting very like negative and feeling very like trapped in the house, and it was just kind of getting me into like a little bit of a funk and just not feeling that obsessed with my life, basically. Yeah. And I don't really know what caused it, but one day I just woke up and I literally thought to myself, I was like, once upon a time when you first moved into this house, you were so happy. Like, you couldn't believe, like, I had never lived in a house by myself before, or like I lived with Ali, obviously. I'd always lived in like girls' houses or with friends or whatever, or my parents, obviously. And so actually this is my first ever house, apartment, whatever, to myself.
Sure.
And that's amazing. And so when I first moved in, I was so happy, excited to have my own space. This living room is my living room, you know, it's not a living room I share with 4 other people. It's like everything about it is my own. It's my home. I have my own car. I can go wherever I want. I live in an amazing village where like I would never be able to afford a house here.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's the nicest place to live versus like where I lived in London, which was fine, but it was a bit rough.
It's a contrast, right?
Exactly.
So you came into it with a really different perspective and a sense of excitement, and
I was buzzing,
gratitude, and
every day I woke up I was like, this is amazing. I'd never lived with a boyfriend before, so there was that excitement level too, and it was just like I just felt so quickly, but I just felt so happy, and I was like, I'm so obsessed with my life and the fact that I've gotten to this point, and like Oxford and everything. And in November, think to myself like, why am I feeling so negative? It's like, once upon a time, this was my dream. Yeah. But now that I have it, it's not enough. And that's such an issue.
How does that happen? And how do we counteract it? I know that maybe we'll get into this, and it's a segue from the notes, but I was thinking this the other day. It's like there are certain things in your life that nothing has changed about the situation, but your feelings have changed about it.
Exactly.
And does it mean that your feelings have now changed, or does it mean you can get back to that place because you once had those feelings? And I don't know the answer. It's like relationships or jobs or houses or situations that you're involved in that initially seem like they're going to make you so happy, and then they do for a brief period of time, and then they don't anymore. And I don't know how much of that is just our like in our own control, and we can kind of get back to that place, or okay, we're done with that situation and we move on. I don't know. How do we know?
It's a good point. I think it's twofold, isn't it? Because one, I think what I realized from this is like it's the grass is greener type feeling of like, oh well, it's like the novelty wears off basically. The novelty of this new thing wears off, and so therefore we get bored. Yeah. And we're like, right, what's the next big thing? This isn't enough now. I've changed my mind. And so gratitude is where that comes in. That's what I realized like in November, was like, I used to be so grateful and so unbelievably happy, and if I could see, if 5 years ago Tash could see me now, she'd be so happy with the situation that she's in. But because I'm not 5 years ago Tash, I'm Tash now, it's not, the novelty's worn off. It's not enough for me now. So I think that's 50% of it. And it's like, actually, when I think of, like, since then I've been like happy and grateful and happy to be in this house again. I've been treating the house better so that I feel better here. I've been going for walks out more so I feel happier, that the fact that I live in this neighborhood and everything. So I've actually been using what's available to me.
You have to practice gratitude,
exactly,
right? Which is not something that I was familiar. I thought that it just, you either have it or you don't, but you practice it.
And you get out of the habit of things too. So like when we first moved in, we went for a walk every single morning around the lock, and we felt so grateful because we could see with our eyes what there was to be grateful for. But then we stopped doing it after a while. The novelty wore off, you know, we got busy, or it got too cold, or whatever it was. And so we just stopped doing it. And it's like, well, now we got back into doing it again. It's like we reminded ourselves, this is why we used to love this.
It's like that, the grass is greener when you water it. You know, that's my favorite quote, because it's what you invest in something.
Exactly.
But is that always the case?
Well, I think the other side of that is that there is sometimes a time, well, there is always basically the time that you do just evolve and outgrow certain things too. And I think that's totally fair as well. And I think a lot of my frustration in November, December time around like being here and everything was because I knew things were changing. Okay. And so it was like I wanted to just skip. It's like skip to the good part. It's like, you know, you want to just skip to the bit that's exciting and the bit that's fun, and this is just normal. This is just every day. This is my life. Like this isn't new or exciting. It's just every day I wake up, it's the same, right? So it's like you almost want to skip forward because you've outgrown where you're at. And that's not necessarily a bad thing either. It's just finding the balance of like, if it's making you miserable, then there's a reason for that. And unless you literally want to just jump ship, you know, cancel the house contract, get the hell out of there, for what? Like, you can't speed up time. So it's like being grateful for where you're at in that moment is how you can become obsessed with your life.
Yeah, it just reminded me of something which is kind of a little bit off topic, but the nature of time. And it's something about, like, it's that concept that don't kind of rush to get anywhere, or don't it's kind of like don't let time, no, it's almost the opposite. It's like don't let time stop you from doing anything, because you're losing time anyway. You may as well be losing it doing something you enjoy.
Yes.
Sorry, that is totally the opposite of what we're talking about.
No.
But it was a brief segue into like the construct of time, because we do try and manipulate time, and we know we can't, and we know it doesn't even exist, but we try and manipulate it. We'll try and speed it up, or we'll try and ignore it and pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
But we have no control over that.
No.
So it's like, and as soon as I find personally, time is a big thing for me, which is something on my sort of tips, is to try and not time limit myself, because I do this at the moment, particularly with my age and music, and thinking, oh my God, I'm now nearly 28. My time's passed. Like if I was going to do it, I would have done it, and it's no longer available to me. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
I hope it's not true. Obviously it becomes harder, but you only let yourself be barriered by the things that are real to you.
Yeah, it's true. And the time thing and the age thing is really important, because actually me and Ali were talking about this yesterday, and I can't remember, he really liked history, and the people he was referring to were people from history, and I do not know.
Yeah, we don't know you. We are not a history podcast, that is for sure.
No, but he was basically saying it was like the idea of like I think it's Alexander the Great achieved everything he did by the age of 30, and then he died. And I'm going to use the example of Jesus, because I can't think of who he used. It wasn't Jesus, because, you know, we don't know the
obvious choice
who Jesus is, really, do we? But, you know, he used somebody else, but I'm going to go with, maybe it was Hamilton, maybe it was Napoleon, I don't know. He has one of those big people. Anyways, I'm going to go with Jesus. Jesus didn't do anything until he was like 30. And then after that, he had his, you know.
So if you're the child of God, that age doesn't apply to you.
I'm such a bad example.
Relatable.
It's such a bad example. But no, actually, it's not a bad example.
It's not a bad example.
It just think of it, you know, as you can think of it as a character way rather than
or just like a human who starts their life at 30.
Yeah, but it's better if you have someone who does something, who achieves something.
Sorry, Jesus. Okay,
you know?
yeah, Jesus.
So, yeah, it's like basically you can either think to yourself, oh my God, Alexander the Great had done all of these things by this point in time, and therefore I'm running out of time and I need to do better. Or you can think of it as like, oh, but this guy didn't even start any of the things he's achieved until this age.
That's true.
And therefore I've still got ages to get to the point where I start to achieve anything.
Yeah, if Jesus did it.
Exactly. So it's like, it's all about the way that you look at it, basically, is the concept.
I agree. The perspective.
Like, you can always find someone who will prove your thought, whether that's positive or negative.
That's true.
So it's your choice whether or not you want to prove to yourself that you can't do something because of your age, or that you can do something because of your age.
And when you put it that way, it's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Why would I not want to try and prove to myself that age is not a thing? Why would I choose the route that is self-defaming and miserable? Like, why would you? But we do. We do have a bias for the negative.
Yeah.
I think it's because we know that if we fail because of our own choosing, it's better than saying that we really tried as hard as we could and then we failed. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like that sort of, if you're in control of your failure or disappointment, then it's supposedly not as bad. I think it's actually worse. I think that's when you live with regret.
Yeah.
But it goes back to perspective, sorry, because I segued us off way into the distance. I'm coming back. When you talk about the perspective of the situation has not changed, your thought process has changed, and can you try and change it back? Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is, the 100% is just gratitude and proving to yourself that that's just not necessarily true. And I think, I wrote as my second point, but I think it kind of feeds into the first one as well, as like the whole idea of, if you want to become obsessed with your life, you've got to make time for the things that you actually enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And that can be so hard, especially once you get yourself into a spiral. And literally, like I was talking about with the going for the walks around the lock, you know, you get yourself into a spiral, you just stop going, you're like, what's the point? It's not doing anything for me. Why do I need to do it? And then you realize a few months later, once you're feeling miserable, that actually that was the reason. Yeah. Like, it's like, oh, well, what's the point in, you know, maybe you, I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe
Jesus.
Honestly. But maybe
Jesus made time for the things he enjoyed. He
I have
turned
no
water
idea what
into wine.
Jesus did.
He turned water into wine.
Did he now?
That's actually a pretty sick
Cara
hobby.
wishes she could do that.
I wish I could. Can you imagine? But I am doing dry January, so
so not
be
this
wasted.
month.
Not this month. Next month.
But yeah, say you really enjoy like going to like, okay, right, well, I hate when you do this.
Sorry.
She like absolutely gets done a giggle fest, and then I have to sit here and edit this freaking video and edit out this whole section. It's like,
oh, it's just my little gift to you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome. Perspective.
Yes, anyways.
Making time for things you enjoy.
Yeah.
And it seems like, do you often find, I struggle with this sometimes, I don't think I can justify doing that if I don't have anything to show for the time that I've spent going for a walk or creating a piece of music. Like if I haven't finished a song, then I'm like, that's time wasted. Yeah, I'm focusing, and that is not the advice I'm giving. It's the opposite. It's focus on the input and not the output.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to relate this. I think it relates. So something else that I heard recently was another approach that someone else takes on their life, and it's something to do with letting their inner child play, and then the adults sorting out the mess, basically. So it's like letting the inner child lead. So go into things with the wonder and excitement and passion of your inner child, the one that doesn't maybe question everything as much and talk themselves out of things, and then let your adult like clean up the mess.
I love that.
So I love it too. I actually really love it. It's brave though. I don't do that because I'm too adult driven at the moment. But I love it.
I love that so much, and I've been thinking about that whole concept of inner child a lot recently.
Yeah.
Because I do think, like, I have lost my goofy side over the years. Like, I still think I'm funny and have fun, but I think I've always felt mature, I guess.
Yeah,
Even when I was younger, I always felt mature. I've always felt older than my years. But I definitely know that I do have a goofy side. It's so suppressed that I don't even know what it looks like. It's like, I would love to just let that out and to not have to be proper all the time, you know?
Just reconnect with it a bit. Be silly. I think we lose it. I think, when we become conscious that other people, or we think that other people are judging us, even if they probably just don't care at all because they're doing the same to themselves. And maybe we think that life is serious and we become a little bit, like, we lose the magic of it. It just becomes mundane and habitual. Like you saying with the house. When you walked in with that like wonder and excitement and curiosity and gratitude, I feel like that's there's a child.
Definitely. And I was running around decorating the house and feeling like this was
and
like
now you're an adult.
It was like my what's it called, like a doll's house,
playground.
I was literally playing with my house like a doll's house.
Exactly. And then you lose it because you let life and what you think it means to you take over.
Then I realize it gets dusty and I have to clean it.
Yeah, but that is shit though, isn't it? I hate dust.
Me too.
Biggest
bane on my life is the dust.
It's like a boomerang.
It just never goes away.
Clean it and you throw it away. No, it does, but it comes back. Like instantly. As you're cleaning that shit, it's falling from the ceiling. But yeah, I love it too. I love that. I think it takes bravery and boldness to do that though. But I think that's probably one of the secrets. Definitely,
because I think the whole thing is that when you're a kid, you are unself-conscious.
Yeah.
It's like the only way really to describe it is just that complete lack of self-consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's not even, like, when I think about like me when I was younger, it's like, oh, wearing whatever I want, no makeup on, hair a mess, don't care. It's like those things still happen now, but I'm aware I look like a bag lady.
And you feel a certain
and
negative...
I'm conscious of that.
Yeah. Tash picked me up yesterday from the station. You were wearing your pajamas, which I love.
Yes.
Your shorts.
My pajamas.
And you were like, Ali, don't break down, because I'm in shorts.
We went to get in the car, Ali was like, what if we break down on the way and we have to stand out there in my trousers? I was like, well, you're just going to have to not break down.
Yeah, and you didn't. So
that's the fact.
But, there's an interesting, that whole live every day as if it's your last.
Yeah.
And this is the reverse of that I heard. And it's like, live every day as if it's your first. And that reminds me of the child, of that wonder and intrigue with life. And I really respect that, because I think living every day as if it's your last makes you feel like you're not getting enough out of life.
Oh my god, yes.
Doesn't it? And also makes you feel like you need to do something pretty crazy and hectic, like jump out of a plane.
Literally yesterday, me and Ali were talking about this exact concept. Like, so crazy, because of the whole reason of the fact that we don't know what we're doing next, and we don't know where we're going next, and there's a lot of, I think I was just thinking of the idea of like, oh, everything has to suck between now and then. Yeah. But actually it's like, and that means I'm wasting my life, it's like, oh, well, if I'm spending a whole day applying for some jobs, that's a waste of a day. That's if I die tomorrow, yesterday was a waste. It's like, you actually can't live like that. You can't live your life thinking every day is your last.
Well, no, that is how you waste it, is by thinking you're wasting it.
And that makes you miserable, and that you're not obsessed with your life if you're doing that. At all. There's no way.
That's a lack mindset, right? Yeah. You don't need a lack mindset. You need what's the opposite? Antonyms for lack.
Oh, crap on a cracker. I do know what it is. It's abundance. Abundance. I knew what it was.
Yes, you did know what it was.
You need an abundance mindset. That's all.
Crap on a cracker.
Crap on a cracker.
I'm allowed to chuckle at that one. Come on, that's pretty funny.
I love that. She's gone. For God's sake.
Is that actually a thing?
I don't know, I say it. I am actually going to have to stop being funny because it just makes my workload bigger the next day, so...
Too good. Oh, I want that to be my
I
phone
take it
screen.
all back. I'm actually not going to activate my inner child because she's going to be hilarious.
No, I
not going to be able to cope.
I love it. I love your inner child.
Oh God. But yeah, it's the idea of like the whole concept of like you have to be present every day is actually unrealistic. And I think I've realized this. Oh, for the love of God. For the love of Jesus.
Composure. It's not my fault. This is gaslighting, by the way, where I react to something you've done and then I'm in trouble for it. Just saying.
I'm so sorry.
No, but I agree. And I think, look, I actually agree with Tash.
I love when you agree with me.
Doesn't often happen.
Everyone's shit.
Well, to an extent. Yeah, it was about the lack mindset though. But my other thing was like, I think I wouldn't want to be suggesting that we always be positive and grateful and happy and making the most of the time we have and stuff, because it's not realistic, and then I think you inevitably feel guilty when you're not doing that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that actually sometimes to live your best life involves you allowing yourself time to not be productive, to rest, to hibernate, to not see the friends that you've committed to seeing all the time, but actually maybe you're a bit drained by social situations, or to take that long weekend that you have annual leave days for but you never take. Like, actually it is okay to just be in the moment.
And you're so right, and it comes back to that thing about the whole past, present and future. It's like sometimes you are going to live in the past, sometimes you are going to live in the future. Like, you can't always live in the present.
Sure.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying you have to live in the present every day to be obsessed with your life. We're just saying to allow yourself the space you need to do the things that you want to do, or to get excited for the things you want to get excited about that make you obsessed with your life.
Yeah,
you know?
Even the small things that you underestimate the true power. For me, it's the self-care, right? It's like having a little charcoal face mask. And I underestimate the power of that because I think, it's just a face mask. But honestly, like, me just doing an act that's purely for myself, that only I will receive the benefit from, feels like the message that I'm sending to myself is more important than the actual act. And it's just one of the little things that I can do that actually make me feel valued to myself. Because that's ultimately, I think, what it's the only sort of value that's long term, is valuing yourself. Everyone else's will be fleeting and circumstantial. That was one of my profound nuggets, wasn't it? We were saying that in the last podcast, we were saying that sometimes I'm kind of the comedic factor to this duo, but I do sometimes have these moments where I kind of, maybe they're just epiphanies to me, but they'll happen. That was one that happened for me just then.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's like you are your only sort of like lifelong partner, really. So investing in yourself more than anyone else
100%
is like really important.
Yeah.
It's like take your oxygen mask first and then help someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And that helps you get obsessed with your life.
Yeah.
A full circle moment. Cool. I love when that happens.
Don't know, did we give practical advice? I think we did.
Yeah.
Be grateful. Make time for the things you love.
Well, remember how much you wanted where you are now is a big part of that too.
Try and channel that perspective.
And don't worry about the whole concept of like having to be present all the time and live every day like it's your last, all that. Because honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's just BS.
Yeah,
and then also the last thing on the list was you don't have to have something terribly wrong with you to go to therapy, just an FYI. It's absolutely no shame wanting to talk to someone who's impartial. I think that is super important in this concept of how to be obsessed with your life, because if you're not obsessed with your life and there's like a reason for that, or you can think of a reason for that, as in the sense of like, you know, you're not obsessed with life because you're self-conscious all the time, or because you're having problems at work or in your relationship or whatever it could be, just little things that are irking on you. You know, you're waking up every day and you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Like, little things like that can wear you down.
So true.
Over time, and that cannot allow you to not be obsessed with your life. So if you need to talk to somebody, just do it. Like, you don't have to be, like, I think people think you have to have something like really bad going on in your life to go to therapy. It's just not true.
And then there's a sense of shame with that.
Yeah.
And also that imposter syndrome of like, oh, you know, there's people worse off than me. Like, I shouldn't be taking up the time of this person when someone else needs it more. But honestly, I firmly believe that being born on this planet, we should all have a therapist or a life coach assigned to us at birth. That is, I will stand by that. And I don't even mean it half jokingly, but half like,
no,
actually,
I agree,
we all go through stuff.
It's like a buddy system to
life.
life.
Is hard. Yeah, a buddy system for sure. So be it coaching, be it a group, like support groups, sometimes they're great because you'd be surprised how many people are going through the same issues as you. There's a lot of people on this planet, and there's that's
actually such a good point.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in whatever way that works for you, right?
Yeah, community is so important when it comes to just your life quality.
Yeah.
And even if you're a single mom, find other single moms in your area, get together once every 2 weeks or something like that, and have that something going on, or, you know, anything. If you're a widower, you're whatever it is, there are so many different groups out there where you can feel, you don't have to chat only about the problems, but you at least feel supported through the thing that you're going through, and that can help you shift your mindset. Basically anything that can help you shift your mindset
for sure
to a more positive place, because like Cara said, like, we do default towards the negative. Like, that's just who human beings are, because we used to be chased on planes and, you know, in deserts, and so we got used to being scared,
and people running up at windows,
that
scaring
was
the living bejesus out of us. Holy shit.
Ali ran and jumped at the window as we were recording, and we all just screamed. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna put in.
I'm actually shaking a little bit. But it's also like, because I think we let our emotional brains like run riot with us, and I think having someone that just can logic things with you, I think they're a vessel, right? And they help you to see things from a different perspective and to see yourself outwardly instead of just this internal like battle. And I think that's so important.
Actually, I was watching the TV show Shrinking. I don't know if you've seen it. No. It's on Apple TV, and it's about a therapist, but he's gone through a really hard thing, and their community and everything that's going on. And basically one of his fellow therapists told his daughter, and then he started doing it too, to set a timer for 15 minutes and just allow yourself to just feel everything, whether that's cry, scream, whatever it is, for 15 minutes. And then once the timer goes off, you get up and you just get on with your life.
It's a bit of a release.
It's a release because I think we carry just so much like tension in us. I mean, I know I feel it all the time. I feel like just like my body is sometimes vibrating with stress, and it's like, that's not a way you can't be obsessed with your life if every day you're like walking around constantly on edge, you know. So just being able to let it all out for 15 minutes or 5 minutes, if the idea of 15 seems like too much, 5 minutes, or maybe you dedicate your shower to your sob time, you know, whatever it is, just like let it out and you'll feel better, you know.
I love it. I love that.
I'm gonna try it. I think we're gonna end this episode here.
Yeah, thank you guys
thank you so much
joining us again.
Yes,
appreciate it. If you're still here, that is,
we love you.
Hats off to you. That's amazing. That is amazing. But yes, please come back next week. We have some more
fun advice
and
I think next week
laughing.
might be some dating advice, actually. Ooh.
We
shall see. A juicy one.
Yeah.
But don't forget to subscribe, follow,
like,
and please leave us a 5-star rating and review, because we'd like to see a few more of those. Just letting you know, there's not enough, and you know, we know you're out there. So if you're one of our silent listeners, I'm telling you now, don't be silent no more. Speak up for yourself by leaving us a 5-star
review. But yeah, only if it's 5-star reviews. If it's like 1 star, don't speak up for yourself. You should be silenced.
If it's 1 star, you wouldn't be watching by this point in time, would you? Let's be honest. So
yeah, but sometimes people do just to hate, you know. They'll watch something like the whole way through and
that's
then
weird
give you
behavior, guys. Don't do that.
Okay. Yeah, we're also not here to tell you what to do, but also we are. Thanks.
Love you guys. Bye.